Let's
Okay.
see, should I?
We are, yes.
I'll do this one.
Okay.
And I'll do
This is on?
this.
And we are live here
Live.
in studio.
Which one is this one? This one is
2.
two.
Oh, for your headset?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Hello. Okay, that's.
Yeah.
I think that's better.
Okay, I can hear you fine. Okay, so the email question we had for Mark, but it's not here, so we'll have to turn on. How much of economy of scales can your firm get by growing?
Okay.
Is that okay, one?
Yeah, across a few areas, sure. Yeah. Some of the fixed guy as it relates to the fund.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
And then Patty, I've noticed what seems like a consolidation of realty firms of yours and Compass and all that.
Oh,
What do you
wow.
think? Why do you think that is? Why is that happening?
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Put your mic down
Berkshire
a little bit.
Hathaway,
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
it's called a divorce. And
Oh, yeah.
finding your ex before your ex.
Okay, what do you want to start off with? I had a quick thing about interest rates going up 0.25% and stocks tumbling.
Yeah, and then I have an article. Redfin predicts a real estate cool down with tech hubs like Seattle and HESA feeling it the most. We'll
Okay.
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of that too.
I always have a
What's
lot of real
happening.
estate questions. Plenty
Yeah.
to ask you.
Okay.
Questions.
You know what? Let's we hardly ever start off with like what's going on with the fund and deals of the week and stuff like
Sure.
that. Why don't we do that and then we'll switch over to the other
Okay,
stuff.
sure.
Okay. And do you have a good deal of the week?
Yeah,
if
it's
you-
just a move down. Petaluma, cross-collateralized, older couple on a fixed income.
Okay. And then I've got a deal, one I just got last night actually from an old client.
Deal of the last 12 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you give us the times? I need the times.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Just kidding.
610, 840, 840, 848, and 510. And if you guys are ready,
Yes.
we will.
Discuss it.
Okay. Here we go. Well, welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Nam Fawn of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohen of Pacific Union Realty.
Yeah, well, now it's Compass.
And now it's
We are
Compass.
now
Okay,
Compass.
so now, see, I'm going to
Da-da-da.
change this here. I'm going to cross this out, and I'm going to say of Compass.
Formerly Compass.
Okay, which we have an email question that has to do kind of with that. We'll get into it in just a minute.
Okay.
Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. And that certificate is not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. The certificate's worth over $100. And don't tell anybody, but it's transferable. So you can do a gift to somebody, and it's right around Christmas time. So that's what you're going to do. Trivia theme is, what do certain initials stand for? And don't worry, it's not SOB. That's not one of them. All right. Want to start off, now, we usually do things a little differently, or excuse me, we're doing things a little differently today. Nam, let's talk about what Pacific Private Money does and a deal of the week, because I've got a deal for you too.
Sure. So Pacific Private Money, we are private lenders, alternative finance, located in Marin. We lend throughout California on real estate, primarily residential, but a lot of people come to us, borrowers, and actually realtors and mortgage brokers come to us when conventional financing isn't an option for a borrower. And there's a lot of different reasons why. Some of them we'll cover in the deal of the week, but we always cover the deals of the week, which really highlight really the scenarios, why somebody would come to us.
Yeah, because you charge more than a typical bank.
Yeah, people think of hard money as what's expensive. Yes, it is more expensive than a bank, but it solves the problem. Typically, it's short term, but ultimately, our goal is to solve that problem for the borrower, solve it for the mortgage broker or realtor, but really long term get that borrower into a lower cost loan.
Okay.
So, Pacific Private Money, we lend again on residential real estate, and private lenders are more flexible than banks. So one of the reasons why we exist is that we can be more subjective about evaluating a loan and its merits and the merits of the borrower and the property. And ultimately, people come to us for that flexibility, but also for that speed, because banks typically take longer, especially over the last several years. Banks typically take 45 to 60 days to fund a loan, where private lending, And certainly in the case of Pacific Private Money, we're closing loans in as little as a week. Obviously, we want a couple of weeks or maybe 3, but if we need to, we can close fast.
Well, I'll give an example. I had a call from a doctor who is looking to purchase equipment and remodel the office. Is in a bind because the typical doctor, they want to write off as much on their tax return as possible, pay as little taxes. Problem is, when they show the tax return to the bank,
Oh,
the
yeah.
bank says, "Gee, you don't qualify." They go, "Yeah, but I make a lot of money," And so they said, "Well, as soon as 2018's tax returns are done, if you're going to make more money, that'll be fine. We can look at 2018." Problem is, this doctor needs to do something now.
No,
Can't
right.
wait until April or so when the K-1s and all that other stuff comes in. Can't do the tax return fast enough. What's that person going to do? And the problem is that the contractor says, "Listen, if you don't get into contract with me now, with all the Santa Rosa fires
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything,
Right.
I've got a million jobs lined up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I need to sign something with you." So what is that doctor going to do? Doctor needs to now. Here's the thing: where we don't do loans on equipment. So the question comes up: do you own any real estate? Well, yes, own a house. Well, there was enough equity in the house to where making a loan backed by the house, collateralized by the house, makes sense for the lender.
Right.
And then also for this person to go ahead, the doctor to go ahead and borrow the money. And then when the time comes next year, go ahead and refinance with a bank and get cashed out.
Mhm.
But it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah,
But it works.
When you highlight 3 things. So first of all, it's a doctor who's borrowing from us,
Yeah.
not somebody who is credit challenged or
Mhm.
or low income. And that's very
Right.
common in the themes, deals of the week we've talked about in the past year. The other thing was the speed.
Yeah.
But also the fact that the collateral, the use of the funds isn't to purchase a home. They're using their home as collateral, but it's to purchase equipment. So
Yeah.
as private lenders, as long as the asset is real estate,
Yeah.
we can lend for a number of different reasons.
And you got to figure also this person is not just using the money to go on vacation. This
Right.
doctor is using it to
Exactly.
enhance the income that'll make things even look even better.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go up to Tahoe with the poopsie.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
That's another reason.
Sure, why not? Tell you what, we're going to cut to our first commercial break. Want to make a quick mention here for the Schooner Frida B, which is from SF Bay Adventures. I don't know if you've ever taken a sailboat out on the water on the San Francisco Bay, but the Schooner Frida B is an ecologically themed tour of the Marin Headlands. Kind of cool. If you like sailing, check them out. sfbayadventures.com. All right, our first trivia question again: what do these initials stand for? Some of these are easy and some are hard. Okay, what does NATO stand for? NATO. All right. Call 888-912-1190. Be the first caller with the correct answer. You're going to win that tanning certificate worth over $100. What does NATO stand for? All right. Stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing. We'll be right back.
That was fast.
Yeah, that was
Really fast.
Yeah, it was a
Strange. I didn't even have my headset on. I'm like, we're
Oh.
2 minutes into this. I'm like,
Oh, well, again, the only reason you need a headset is just so you don't forget. Otherwise, you do this, or if you do this, you wouldn't know that's not the thing to do. See,
oh.
you see, that's all it does. Remind you to
I see.
do that.
So I might not wear it anymore, honestly.
Yeah, you
It's not a good look.
What's that?
This is not a good look.
You don't wear put on Beats by Dre after you.
Right.
By Dre. I don't know, Patty. I mean, I'm looking at you
It's
too.
not a good look. I would much rather do this.
You can do.
Yeah.
Again, as long as you don't.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're not going to, I'm not going to.
I know, exactly. And then she gets to take hers off. It's not a good look.
You sticking around for the holidays?
Yeah, I am. How about you?
Yes, we're gonna go to San Luis Obispo the week after, in a couple weeks, week after New
Yeah.
Year's.
What's
Yeah.
that? What's this one?
We're gonna meet my brother-in-law.
Oh.
His my nephew lives there. He lives in Bakersfield, so we're gonna meet along the coast. So
Where's your
that's
wife from? Around here?
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're ranching family up in the hills east of
Oh, wow.
Bakersfield. Yeah,
yeah.
Interesting.
yeah, I know it's
Different.
totally different.
All right. And we'll. You got some good stuff?
Yeah.
First, okay.
I do actually.
All right. See, I upped my game. I wearing long sleeve shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even
Sorry, I didn't
notice.
notice.
I knew something was different, honestly.
No shorts and a t-shirt today. All right. Is we ready? Or as my dad used to say, is we is or is we ain't? That was an old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's it from?
I could sing that song like you just got me
That's
going.
right.
It's in my head.
It is a song, isn't it?
Is you, so is you ain't my baby.
Yeah, there you go. Sing it, Patty, sing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I did this one here. Just make a quick mention for Julius. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, along with Nam Phan and Patty Cohen. First trivia question: what does NATO stand for?
North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Very good.
Very
Yeah,
good.
you gotta get that O in there too. Hey, want to make a quick mention here for Gold Rush Jewelers in Santa Fe and Novato. I think they also have a Petaluma office.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
They're
or a
great.
shop.
Store.
Yeah, the store. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. The cool thing is they don't just try to sell you stuff. You know, if you go in there, you just want, let's say, jewelry fixed. They can usually do it right there on the spot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then
And for like $10.
yeah,
I mean, you go in there, I'm like,
very
how much?
Yeah, no, they're very, very
Yeah.
reasonably priced. Rick Lewis, he was a guest on the show, kind of teaching us a little bit about jewelry,
Yeah.
diamonds, and all that fun stuff.
Oh,
And
neat.
he's a good guy. Good guy. So check them out, Gold Rush Jewelers. All right, Patty, what do you got for us?
Well, it's such an interesting market because it wasn't clear which way we were going. And it's becoming more and more clear that we are definitely entering the shift. You know, I don't want to say buyer's market, that's maybe too
Right.
strong.
Well, you know what? Shift happens.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of it goes down around here.
Best joke of the year there, Edward.
Thank you. The fans go wild toward the end of the year.
So yeah, a big question all the time is what's happening with the real estate market, which is a lot to do with our economy, and most of us have the majority of our wealth tied up in real estate.
Yes.
So everybody wants to know. That's all we really try to talk about here is kind of like where we're going and who
Yeah.
really knows. However, I do see a shift. I see some cracks in the whole thing, and I've been saying that for a long
I was
time.
gonna say it's not so much because of the holiday season.
No,
Okay.
it's not. So here's an example from Business Insider. 82% of CFOs say they see a recession beginning in 2020, while 50% see it by the end of 2019. 97% of African CFOs say their country will be in a recession no later than the end of 2019. 86 in CFOs say the same in Canada, 67 in Europe, 50. So it's all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary. It's not just Bay Area real estate.
Well, if you notice, in fact, I had a little note here that the Fed just raised the interest rates this week,
Right.
another 0.25%. The day they did it, the market dropped another 350 points. And if you look at the January 1st of 2018, the Dow was at 25,300. Now, as we're doing the show, it's 23,300. That's a 2,000 points, an 8% loss for the year.
For the year, right?
Ouch.
Yeah. Now that's in the stock market. Pacific Private Money, you guys didn't lose money.
No, not at all. We returned and we continue to return 7.5%
7.5% interest.
annualized to our investors.
That's even gooder than losing.
Yes,
I like
that's
that.
right.
Even more gooder.
Bigly.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, and I mean, and even so, that's CFOs. If you look at consumers,
Mhm.
75% of respondents to a survey think that the nation's housing market is beginning to slow. More than 20% of Californians believe the housing market is cooling, the most of any state.
Well, it's interesting because there's a house that they did a remodel not too far from me, and I think it's just overpriced.
Mhm.
And I think that's what's making it not move.
Yeah,
right?
there's a combination of things
Yeah.
always, but price is always the big one to
It's got
start
to
with.
be, yeah. I mean, at some price, something will always sell,
Exactly.
right? And at some price, it'll never sell.
Yep.
And unfortunately, this thing's been sitting around for a few months, and I know that they popped a lot of money in to remodeling.
There was a home in Woodside that was listed years ago for 44 million. I just saw this in the Chronicle.
Is it 25 now?
And it went down to 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now I think this weekend it's going to go on auction in Hong Kong.
Ouch.
So they're trying to get out of country buyers.
For is there a minimum price?
There's no reserve.
Oh my
Really?
God.
Yeah.
So I could
That's
bid
really risky.
$100,000 and no, they got to be
That's
able to say
risky.
no. Yeah.
Yeah,
With auctions.
Yeah. So they're trying to tap into Hong Kong money or Asian money, but it's been on the market for years.
Yeah,
There's
things are not good. I mean, I've got about 6 listings coming up, and all of them were expired, meaning that they tried in 2018 when anybody thought that anything could sell.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking those listings and figuring out, okay, let's put some money into them and figure out what to do.
Now,
And-
were these your listings?
No, they
No,
weren't.
okay.
So I do a lot
Yeah.
with expired listings. Now, one thing about Compass, they have a concierge program where they will pay for the homeowners at no interest, the homeowner's cost to fix up the property.
Really?
It could be
That's-
$50,000.
Yeah.
Yep. They also will do bridge loans at no charge.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
interesting.
Wow.
So are they going to go down the path of like Zillow and Open Door and buy homes directly from a client?
No.
Okay.
No,
I
it's
could see
really
that being
strong.
a difficult.
Well, especially in a down
process.
market.
Yeah, I mean,
Or in a
I'm not saying that there's any bad things going on per se, but couldn't some attorney kind of look at that as a conflict of interest?
Oh, the bridge loans?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
no,
not-
not bridge loans.
Oh.
Of buying the property. from-
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
would think so.
Yeah.
No, Compass is not that. They're very agent centric. They're very much about and the bridge loans. They're not doing bridge loans.
Yeah.
But if we have a client who can't get to their next home, they'll do an interest free thing, and they know what the
well,
concierge.
there's no way that anyone can complain about that.
Yeah,
they're just
helping.
You're just giving
Yeah.
them money.
And even the concierge service at no interest,
Yeah.
they know they're going to lose money on that. But it's okay compared to the amount that they're getting from
For the commission.
listings that they wouldn't get and
Right.
all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's quite
that-
a progressive company.
That is really very interesting marketing because it's interesting. It's like if you have a listing and it expires, it gets a little stale. And
Very.
so sometimes just bringing on a new agent, a new fresh look
Right.
with that. And so I could see where if they're going to lose a listing, they say, hey, listen, we'll stay with us for a while and we'll have this concierge service.
Yeah.
Very smart.
I mean, like I'm just taking these listings, and some of the people
Yeah.
have money to put in, but a lot of them don't have any money, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Sorry, this is it." And I'm like, "Well, now we have a program I can talk to you about," and that's
Interesting.
very rare.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot going on in residential real estate. But going back to the cool down, so
Yeah.
Redfin predicts big real estate cool down in 2019 in tech hubs like Seattle, San Francisco feeling it the most. But when we're talking about a correction or cool down, we're really not talking about a cool down, not
Yeah.
recession per
Crash.
se. No, we're not talking about a crash.
No.
We're talking about going into more of a balanced market.
Plateau
So
market, tabletop.
maybe
Yeah.
we can talk about days on market and how long it typically takes for this transition to occur
Mhm.
before we can call it like a true buyer's market. So
Right.
That's a good point. What's
Right.
the definition of that?
yeah, because the sky's not falling. When it comes to
No.
real estate, it's just the prices aren't going to go crazy like they have been for the last 10 years.
Nor should they.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
if they stay, I don't say not even stabilize, but if they go up, 2 or 3% a year, that's okay.
Right.
Yeah. And this is normal for our market, and predictable, welcome, and normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have waves of 5 to 7 years, both in the quote buyer's market and seller's market. Just because it's a buyer's market doesn't mean that the sky is falling. It just means
Gotcha.
the terms become more favorable to buyers.
Right.
It takes a little longer to sell.
Do you think we'll start seeing more contingency offers?
Yeah.
Really?
And maybe a lease option here and there,
Yeah.
Right.
Buyers
being more demanding. for
Yeah.
homes.
Yeah, I like that. I like the creativity of it.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
No more, not no more, but so many times it was all cash 10-day close or you're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
No, and no contingency. I've been doing this 30 years and I've never seen until this time
Yeah.
where people will just go in with 0 contingencies.
Yeah, for the right price, I guess it's worth it. All right, here's our second trivia question. What does OPEC stand for? And we all know what OPEC is, right?
Yeah.
With oil and the
Mhm.
Middle East, right? But what does it stand for? OPEC.
How can I
Right.
know?
Really? Okay, that's very good. All right. We'll see how good you are. Call 888-912-1190. First caller with correct answer wins that tanning certificate. Don't touch that dial. The best investing. We're right back. Yeah, 2 seconds over.
Well, I'm not going to say if I'm wrong. Isn't it oil producing economic countries or countries?
Well, you'll just
Well,
have to guess.
Embarrass myself online
Yes. Mark does it all the time.
with everyone. Yeah, I know. Everyone listening, no, I'll do it. Oil producing something. Anyway, God, we're moving right along here.
I
This is
know.
the
Totally.
best. We always have a good little theme.
Yeah, I love talking
Yeah.
real estate with you. You
Yeah,
always
yeah.
have the answers. You
Yeah.
always have.
Or
Yes,
fake it till you
I
make
did
it.
so I go to this networking thing at Opus Bank, and so there's a guy who's a commercial insurance broker, seems like a really nice guy. And so, we all sort of give our little 30-second pitch what we do. And I mentioned I have this show and the sports show, right? So he comes up to me afterward and he said, a little time to schmooze with people. And he says, so do you, he goes, wow, you cover all, baseball, football, hockey. But I said, well, baseball, football, basketball. And I go, I don't know much about hockey. I go, I know this much,
Yeah.
And he goes, oh man, I know a lot about hockey. I mean, he didn't say it that way. He goes, well, I know a lot about hockey. He grew up in New York and all this kind of stuff. And when he found out that the sports show was like sports and business, he started talking about the sports part of hockey, what was going on, and all this stuff. And I mean, he seemed really knowledgeable, not just your typical fan. So I thought, you know what, it'd be kind of fun to have. So I called the segment, and when he had him on, I actually had him on for the whole show. I called it the everyday man fan, segment.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of fun to have somebody who, rather than just the 49ers should trade this guy and get this guy, but somebody who kind of knew some ins and outs of and hockey. I don't know anything about it.
They might know more than the experts.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
so immersed.
Yeah, that's true.
That's cool.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
2 segments down, 22 more to go. All right. Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nam Phan and Patty Cohen. Second trivia question was, what does OPEC stand for?
Oil producing countries at the end. I don't know. Economic.
I mean, that's what I would have thought, something like that.
Yeah.
Nam?
Same.
That would be called, that's a nice way of saying no.
No.
I got the first one right.
No,
I
it's
missed out.
Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, so
okay.
I mean, you think the O would be oil, like oil producing. I would have thought that too. But I've got the answers here, and that ain't it. All right, hey Patty, we have a question that came in for you. It says, I have noticed what seems like a consolidation of realty firms. Why do you think that is? First of all, is that happening? And if so, why?
Well, in a way, it's always happening.
Oh.
And yes, it is happening. And think of it just for a minute, an analogy of like, what if, Kmart and Target merged. So there's that level of merging. And then there's the old, right on Main Street, somebody goes out of business after 60 years or they buy up the competitor down the street. So that's the same thing. There's some of that going on in real estate where recently, at least in Marin, one company kind of merged, or not merged, but they split.
Yeah.
Frankly, a divorce, husband decides to take half the, see who's going to follow the Pied Piper. You know what?
Yeah.
So there's that. But then there's other things like Compass, who is huge and really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, who are they?
No one knows Compass. And they, and it's young, well-funded people.
Well, it's got to be well-funded.
Well-funded. Big vision, and the vision was to have a 20% market share in the top 20 markets by 2020. And 20% market share is really actually big.
Yeah,
It is.
Anyway, so they now have it. They are on track for having that, number one. That's amazing.
In Marin, was there anybody who had 20%?
Well, Pacific Union but in the whole entire Bay Area, we had more than 25% in Marin. But in the entire San Francisco Bay Area, which is where they wanted to be, the 20%, we're now them, and they had already a few, so they did it in here. They've done it in many, or on track to do it in the top 20 markets, and then some. And really fast-moving, innovative.
So they're not afraid of Zillow and some of these other companies or any of these companies that say, the agent will go by the wayside or something like that.
No, and it's really in some ways going to combat Zillow, because all the real estate companies would need to do is decide that they're not going to share their listings with Zillow anymore.
Yeah.
And all the consumers would then come to us. But it's too confusing because, you just want to find a property. I don't care about their listing versus their listing. I want a neutral party.
Yeah.
But if Compass has the 20% market share by 2020, they're going to get bigger. And we have a platform where it's going to be private view, where we will be putting on listings prior to they go on MLS. So consumers are going to come to us
first. Yeah, so you have to get the word out. I guess it's
going to take a little time.
Engine with using It used to be, I remember Excite.com,
Mhm.
remember
Yeah.
that? And then, Yahoo, and then,
Right.
Everybody now uses Google. And so it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
that. It's sort of along those lines of, which search engine you're going to use.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so more and more, we're going to have a bigger market share. I mean, this is going to take some time,
Mhm.
but for sellers, it's a good thing too, because again, back to the stale factor of an expired listing, it hurts when you've been on the market for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, if you come to our private view, you're not memorialized anywhere. You're not out there as
Oh.
already been chopped.
Oh, gotcha.
So as a seller, you can test your price.
Mhm.
You can
Huh.
see what because the agents are looking, and will be over 20%, maybe 30%.
Yeah.
So agents
Big
are looking
market
at
share,
it,
sure.
potential buyers are looking at it. If it doesn't get snapped up, then okay, we have to adjust our price.
Yeah.
Maybe we, and
I mean,
buyers like
well,
it.
it's
'Cause-
interesting. It reminds me, it's almost like having a broker come in and give
Right.
you what they think
Yeah.
their assessment
Broker
of that.
price opinion.
Uh-huh. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
broker
Broker tour.
Broker
Mhm.
tour. That's what
Right.
I'm thinking of.
Mhm. But it's a real live test in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So at some point, maybe the realty companies are not going to be sharing their listings with Zillow anymore.
Oh,
Then they have
that'll put them
nothing.
out of business.
Yeah.
Right.
Zillow grew on the back of a very fragmented industry.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because there's no clear market leader.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
could collect the data and they just got to the consumer
Yeah.
directly.
Yeah.
And their product is our listings. So they're
Yeah.
taking our product and selling us leads off of them.
Gotcha.
Quite well, actually. Yeah.
How do people get hold of you?
Oh, I'm Patty Cohn, Cohn, and with Compass I'm based in Marin County at 415-722-4842. Patty Cohn. And I've been in business 30 years. I know so much at this point.
And that's the other thing is that what's really good about Patty is she's been so long in the business, so experienced that, I mean, you're dealing with $1 million house or more.
Right.
You want someone who's experienced.
Yep.
So Patty's very good about sharing information.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate that.
Hey, so going back
Thank
to the market cool down, what has the days on market been on average for your medium priced home in Marin?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some like 30 days on market, but now that includes the contingency period, which by
Sure.
default of the contract is 17 days. But so many times it's, in competition, it's so really honestly, like days on market on average has been like 10 days,
Yeah.
15.
So which is equates to a seller's market.
Yeah.
Right. So what days on market would you say is balanced market? 60? Including
That's a lot.
contingencies?
No, 60 is a lot. If you can't get it done in 60,
30.
it's a problem.
30,
Maybe
35.
30, 35.
Okay.
Now, a one way to actually tell a barometer of I think where you're getting to is how do you really know? Well, let's take 100 listings for sale.
Mhm.
If out of the 100, 25% or less are in contract, we are in a buyer's market.
Okay.
If it's 25 to 35% in contract, it's a neutral market.
Okay.
And if it's over 35%, it's a seller's market.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And so that's a good barometer.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
That's good.
And currently, then, out of 100 listings, what would you
How many
say
are
right
in
now?
contract? Oh my God, we used to have 50% in market.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
well, it's just too hard at this very moment because
Yeah.
it's winter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked in a while, but I think it's maybe 30.
Okay. So for those listeners who are looking at maybe either buying or selling, that's a good barometer to
Mhm.
say. Like, it's hard to time any market in real estate, but and especially this time of year.
Mhm.
But as we get into the new year and you're looking to purchase or sell, I mean, those are considerations. If you're looking to purchase, it's like, you know what? There's going to be more inventory.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's
you can
one
be
thing to
choosier.
tell people too, wait till the spring to put your house on the market. Another thing is say, now you better wait 2 more years and then put your house on the market. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really hard to.
Right.
But even 2
right.
more years, it's not going to get better. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
going to crash.
Yeah.
But right now, your terms are more favorable
Right.
than they will be in 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because, and by the way, now I'm like, so back to the days on the market question, if you look at that percentage in contract, your days on the market are going to follow.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
You guys ready for the hard
And
one?
the list price to sales price. Oh, ready for the holiday. Oh, well, yeah, ready. I'm wearing red.
No, I said, you ready for the hard one?
Oh, the hard one, the hard
Mhm.
This is
question?
a hard question.
Okay.
To me, it was, I did not get this correct.
Do we have to get to a break soon?
The 8:40 mark, and it's 8:15 right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll ask it really slowly. Now, what does GOP stand for? Right, you remember they,
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand for Republican Party because that wouldn't be GOP per se, but
Right.
I guess it is the Republican Party, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they
Yeah.
consider it? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't look at the answers. I see your eyes peering. All right, don't touch that down. Call 888-912-1190.
Yeah, I don't know where GOP came from.
I
Gubernatorial.
thought you were going to ask a question from a listener. That's why I'm.
Oh,
Couldn't
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize
No,
that's a
I'll come
trivia
into
question.
yours. Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
I
No,
know.
I'm kidding.
Sometimes. Wait, what do you mean you're kidding? No.
Yeah.
It's the grand old party.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, grand old party. Wow.
I had no idea.
Did not know that.
Because I didn't know, so I looked it up.
Just
Like,
now.
No, like I don't know, a few years ago.
Really?
I'm like, what does GOP stand for?
I know. It's such a weird. I mean, it just seems like a little old boys club, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they should get
It
they
is, I
should
know.
stop saying that because it really doesn't
I don't think
go
it
with
serves
forward
them
thinking.
well.
It's not going to attract
Grand old party.
millennials. Let's just say that.
They're like, what?
Radical.
Yeah.
No, it just that seems like just.
Yeah, you could just see him dancing around with flags and square dancing and
That's like Uncle Sam time.
yeah, exactly.
Actually, Uncle Sam's been around since 1812.
Yeah.
Or 1812. Kind of weird. Okay.
He coined grand old party.
They did. Probably.
No, I don't.
Well, there really wasn't an Uncle Sam. So.
I think there's no Santa
Actually,
Claus.
there might have been. Okay, ready? Here you go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nam Fon and Patty Cohn. And you like that? And Patty Cohn. All right. Nam graced us with his wisdom in knowing this question. He told us off air. What does GOP stand for?
Grand old party.
Not Grand Old Opry, but Grand Old Party. Really? He knew that. I'm very impressed.
I can retire now.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at
the
trivia.
winnings from that
No,
question.
you did. Yeah, the OPEC one was hard, but you got number one and number
Yeah.
three. Listen, that's
Every
batting
once in a while.
667. That'll get you in the Hall of Fame.
Broken clock is right.
Twice a day.
Yeah, right,
That is
yeah.
correct. Actually, I heard I read some trivia question. They said, what's the angle when it is 9:15, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And you're thinking, okay, well, that if you look at the
180. Yes.
you think
Zero.
it's 180, right? Or
Right.
zero, right? No. The thing is, remember when the clock starts to go towards 15, the little hand starts moving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
it's
almost like a trick question, like if it's 9:30.
3
It's
degrees
like,
or something.
yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
47 degrees, something like that. Kind of crazy. That's a hard one. That was not our trivia question. Okay, now we did receive an email. I guess someone's been following your company, stalking you, saying, "How much of economies of scale can your firm get by growing?"
So
Explain that one.
yeah, so economies of scale. Let's use the fund as an example. Let's focus on that. So I guess the question is, as the fund grows, let's say as the fund grows in size and in assets under management, where can we realize some efficiencies or lower costs?
That's exactly what I think.
Yeah. So there's some expenses that are relatively fixed, like fund administration or fund audit. The cost that we pay our accounting firm to audit our fund, that's not going to go up based on the dollars. So as the fund gets bigger, I mean, fund accounting is always an expense.
Yeah.
But the bigger the size of the assets under management relative to the cost for that accounting.
Yeah, there'll probably be a
goes
little bit
down.
more because if you have more loans, it's more to audit, but it's not. It's gonna be more incremental. Than
Right.
what's huge. Yeah.
So if the fund grows to twice the size, the audit cost wouldn't be twice as much.
Gotcha.
Okay, but it's incremental. But things like that. So some of the fixed expenses, some of the personnel, although we don't pass personnel expense onto through the fund, or we don't pay for it through the fund, but certainly as a company, as our assets under management grow or loan origination, we get some economies of scale there. Where it's not like we're doubling our staff size when we double our loan size or loan volume.
Okay, so it's not bad for your investors if the fund grows.
Absolutely.
It actually helps them a
No.
little bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we can realize some yield gain if there's fewer expenses or.
Yeah, because you guys have grown, but it has not been exponential. I mean, it's taken 5 years. And how large is the fund now?
Our fund now is about close to 44 million or so.
Okay.
So, it's grown, although the total loans we've done as a company this year will be 120 plus million.
Okay. Because you do
So-
short-term loans, people pay it back.
Yeah. So, sort of a short answer is we always need more fund capital. So
Yeah,
for
'cause you have more
investors out
deals,
there, we can certainly place capital pretty quickly. We've got more deal flow than than capital, and which is the reverse of a lot of others in the industry who have way more capital and are just looking for deals. So we can be choosy on the types of deals we fund. We say no
don't
a
you say
lot.
no more?
Yeah.
We do. We continue to say no probably at 90% of those scenarios that come our way.
Yeah.
So-
Well, like you said, if you got that much deal volume, you can be very choosy.
And going back to the stock market and the economy, we have some institutional money looking at us now and looking at our fund as, in terms of the yield, as a replacement for what they were getting in bonds. So they're looking at parking their money with firms like us, or looking at alternative finance as a place to invest in.
Yeah, it's not the Wild West anymore, with craziness. I mean,
No, it's
it's
much
still
more
regulated and yeah, you get audited and
Yep.
third party. I mean, very similar to a regular mutual fund has that third party oversight anyway.
Yeah, so the industry's gotten a lot more transparent. If you go to, like we do, a lot of conferences and events, the types of companies that are there to as service providers and as investors has grown in terms of sophistication, in terms of technology, in terms of just overall, just transparency for the industry, which is good.
Will you lend against Bitcoin?
Not again.
Not again.
It's a topic that comes up probably once a month on the show, and
Yeah.
and of lately it's been getting beat up a lot by
Yeah,
us.
35. I know. I was thinking, how can we short that? Because I when it hit like 18,000 or something, I was thinking, I know it can't sustain itself because it's not built on anything.
It's so
Yeah.
risky.
Even at 3,500, it's overpriced.
Yeah.
I was wondering, they spend so much computing power to solve these math
Yeah.
problems in order to acquire Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's some way you can go figure out those problems offline, like with an abacus or something like that. It's got to cost a lot less, right?
Well, that's what that one article was talking about, how it was costing. It's at a point now where it's costing more to mine it than it is to acquire.
Yeah, then the value. So it costs $4,500 to mine one coin.
In
And
electricity.
Yeah, and electricity.
I mean, that's got to be a lot of electricity. My house bills are
Yeah.
Yeah.
$4,500 a month.
It's crazy.
And one Bitcoin is worth $3,500. So you're upside down at $1,000 just to acquire the coin.
Wow.
Now, if you're a speculator, maybe that's, you're betting long or something like that, but it's speculative. Right? That's the
Yeah.
bottom line right now. So I think Iceland or Greenland was a country where there was a huge influx of people moving there to mine Bitcoin because of the geothermal power was really low cost. And so there were all of these servers being set up in Iceland or Greenland because of the electricity was so much less
Yeah.
there. But now there might
I
be a
wonder
mass
why the
migration
electricity is so much less, because they're closer to the North Pole? Or-
because geothermal is natural
Uh,
electric producing. They use the thermal to generate, to power turbines to generate electricity. It wasn't like coal
yeah.
or natural gas or petroleum. It was free.
I mean,
Essentially.
I may be dumb, but what's the geothermal? I mean,
just
the atmosphere?
the heat, just the
the heat comes from the ground.
coming from the ground. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's freezing up there. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean,
But
Greenland's
it's-
freezing. Iceland's not
Yeah.
so
it
freezing.
heats up
but-
the water, and the water can be used.
Okay,
to
sort of like
generate
Old
turbines.
Faithful.
It's kind of like steam.
Yeah.
Steam
Yeah.
power to generate electricity. So
and it's not like it's solar power. There's not a lot of sun.
now,
So why don't they go to Old Faithful and just kind of attach something there? That's constantly going. The geyser, right?
sure, we'll try it there. Probably get arrested for trespassing.
What are you doing? Oh, I'm setting up a geothermal to mine Bitcoin. Sure, go ahead.
What are you in for?
Yeah,
Geothermal.
exactly. Yeah, no. Okay, we have one more minute before we have to cut the break. What do you guys want to cover?
Well, if people want to invest in the fund,
Oh, yeah.
certainly give us a call, 415-883-2150, or you can go online at www.pacificprivatemoney.com to learn about the fund, or to learn about just note investing or trustee investing as well. We have talked about that in a while, and we can talk about it later, but
Okay.
we also sell loans on a one-on-one basis.
But to get in the fund, you have to. There are some requirements.
Yeah, for the fund, you have to be accredited, so $1 million net worth, $50,000 minimum investment, and a 12-month minimum hold.
Okay. And
Say that.
it's $1 million exclusive of your home, or
Correct.
200,000 of income. That's the
Yep.
definition of being an accredited investor, as I remember.
Mhm.
You remember correctly.
I remember correctly. And 1 year hold, so after that, there's no fee to get in, no fee to get out.
Correct. And we're
That's my favorite kind of investment.
Yeah.
No fee to
Yeah.
get in, no fee to get out.
Yeah.
All right.
It's amazing.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to have some closing comments. Let us know if there's any investment conferences coming up.
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
people can learn more. All right, stay with us. The Best of Investing. We were right back. That's our fourth segment. We
Okay.
only have
Moving right along
4
here.
minutes to go.
Last one. What time is it? 3:51.
Thanks for coming in early. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. It's such a slow time right now.
Yeah.
Even traffic wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's people are. This is a weird Christmas. Do you know? Don't you think that it's almost like the Christmas event didn't happen? Like you don't see lights out there.
You know what? I've been out shopping just in the last week, and it's been quiet.
A lot
People
of
are
people are
staying
online
in.
shopping. You know.
I guess
I
so.
love that.
I think there's just more and more people isolate. Like just in
Yeah,
general,
sure.
like these days, if your phone, I keep wanting to do this. If your phone rings, it's like,
Yeah.
don't answer it. It's gonna be some scam, and I'm in the
Right.
business of getting leads.
Right.
It's terrible.
Do you get a lot of spam calls?
Oh, all day long.
Yeah.
Most of the time, more times than not, if a phone rings, if I don't recognize the number, it's junk.
Well, in your case, though, you can get a lot of leads from people you don't
I know.
know. Yeah.
I know, but they're usually not.
But especially if it's coming from Pennsylvania or something. You know, we have now been allowed to sell, health insurance. It's
Yeah.
like, come on.
Or that one, I'm calling for a very particular reason. Do you get that? I don't know. I get that all the time. Or Blue Cross or something. I get
I'm
that all
calling
the time.
for really. You're not calling for just to call and say hello. You're calling for a reason.
Yeah, it just arrests you. It's arresting. It's just I can't take it. Anyway.
My phone though, it's Google or Android. It says suspected spam caller. So
Really?
I get that on a number of
Oh, I don't get
calls.
How do I get that? Are you
I don't
on
know.
Verizon?
Yeah.
Really?
Verizon,
Yeah, Verizon
and
too.
Android, and it says suspected spam call.
That might
And
be
then
Android.
I don't
have
know.
Verizon.
Or it's a Google Pixel phone, maybe. I don't know.
My brother was telling me that there's this. He turned me on to this email thing that you click on it, you can download it on your phone. Where if it's it can tell if it's a spam call like that, and it'll say, "Hey, hi, how you doing?" And you go, "Okay, now what was that again?" I mean, it'll know it's a live person,
Yeah.
so you'll keep the spammer on for quite a while.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
until they
I love
actually they connect. Because like it's a long pause because they're calling so many, and if you hear a long pause, you hang up. That's what it is.
Yeah, but in this case, it's instead of you answering the phone,
Yeah.
It's a recording.
It's a recording thing
Oh.
and it's different ones. So it'll automatically. I guess you can still call. I'm trying to think. That's
It's
a good
probably
question.
just buying time until they get on, because
No, I'm saying that what you do is you download it on your phone, so
oh,
that you're going to spam the spammer.
I love
That's
that.
great.
Well, my brother, speaking of brothers, my brother, this is 30 years ago, had his outgoing voicemail going, "Hello,
Yeah,
Yeah.
wait a second, let me check."
yeah,
I'm like,
Oh,
it's
I'm not
so annoying.
yeah. We did
I
that.
would love to do that to a spammer though.
Yeah.
Kill like an hour of the day.
Well, you know,
and
what I mean,
also-
that's the thing is that you can. I mean, if you have the time and you answer the phone, that's when
Yeah.
like, okay, you know what? That sounds like a really good idea. Hold on, let me get my credit card. Okay, here you go. You have a pen and paper? I gotta make this fast because I gotta go. The number is 469-324, and it expires 11/22. Okay,
Yeah.
you get that? Okay, no, you didn't get that? Okay, well, which one did you? And
Yeah.
that's like there was an I Love Lucy episode where she's in a phone booth, right? And she puts a dime in, and the person, is a little bit too slow in giving her the information. It's like
I
the
hate slow.
operator comes on, another 10 cents.
Oh,
please.
that's
It's gotta
funny.
keep doing it. It's like,
I remember somebody that coworker of somebody, she used to play with these spam guys, which I would never do it, but like, the Nigerian
Yeah.
African spammers.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, "Well, I don't know if I can trust you. You say you're here, but can you take a picture of yourself in front of the airport and send it to me?"
From the airport.
Or just
Or-
mess with
picture,
them. Like, I don't know if you're real or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So take a picture of yourself, doing something.
Yeah.
And they do it.
And they
Okay.
do it?
Yeah, but I still don't know if I can trust you. Can you do something? And they keep doing it. Yeah. But I mean, like, you didn't want to get these guys mad.
Yeah.
They can show up in your door.
Well, that's the problem is
Yeah.
you never know. One guy, when my brother did something like that to him, "I F your mother and all up," and the guy just got so
Yeah, no,
irate.
they're gonna get mad.
Wow.
They're gonna get
I
mad.
usually preach to him.
Yeah.
I say, you know what? If you put your trust in Jesus Christ, you won't do this anymore. And that's the easiest way to get
They will
rid of
hang
people
up.
is talk religion with them.
Yeah, it's
Well,
really good.
What about that guy this week who he was like a former NASA engineer and he made this box fake like delivery box. He put it on his front porch, and what it did is, as soon as they opened it up, opened the top, this thing would spin and shoot out like
Fireworks?
no, not fireworks. It would shoot out like
Streamers?
glitter,
I love it.
Okay.
glitter, and then it would release it, and then there was this little canister of fart smell, and it would spray it automatically for like a couple times. So whoever got the box would open it up, and all of a sudden they'd get sprayed with glitter, and there were cameras in there that recorded them too,
Oh, wow.
and there's GPS tracking, and then it would spray this fart smell.
But he would put that on someone else's
No,
doorstep.
No,
he put
his
it
own-
on his,
his
which was
own.
the stupid thing.
Well, unless he was thinking that people are going to steal it.
No, yeah, people stole
He
it.
did it for that reason.
He did it for
That's
that
what
reason.
Gotcha.
That's how
But
bad it's
I
come
wouldn't
to.
want to piss people off.
No.
And now they know where I live.
Yeah,
but
that's
it,
true.
but it
Don't
was
mess with
funny
these people.
because he posted the videos
Yeah.
of people and like had it happen like 3 or 4 times,
Wow.
and then people open it up and they're like, "What the?" I've been getting
Yeah.
sprayed with glitter, and then like, "What's that smell?"
Yeah.
I gotta look that up. On
Look it
YouTube.
up. It's like this week you'll find it on so many things, but it's funny though.
Well, you know, it's funny. He could have just tested this for YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be all a farce.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, look what I did. I set this up." And he goes, "Hey, Joe, come over here. Pick up
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing." Right? I mean,
Totally.
it doesn't have to be real, but it's still pretty
fun.
funny though.
Yeah.
Everybody's messing with everybody.
All right, what do we want to cover? You got 4 minutes before I go into the thoughts for the day.
We can talk about.
When's the next event?
I don't have it
Don't have
planned
one,
yet.
okay.
It really it's going to be with USCP, so it's been
Oh,
on
is it?
hold. Right? That's
I mean,
Maybe.
theoretically, January 1st.
theoretically. That's 6 weeks away.
Yeah, that's
It's not gonna happen.
it's next week.
You might just have to. Let's see. What can we talk about? Real quick, I was out meeting with mortgage brokers yesterday,
Oh.
and one of them is getting a lot of loan requests for modular homes in Paradise.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know if that's
interesting.
worth
Hmm.
mentioning, but they do this all-in-one loan where it's for the ground-up construction as
Yeah.
well, or to rehab the actual land, to scrape it,
oh, yeah.
and to build a home,
Modular.
and for the actual modular home. I don't know.
I
if
like
that's-
modular homes. They're just like regular homes. Sometimes
Yeah,
they're
some of
even
them are
better.
nice. Yeah.
So
But do banks have still an issue with modular homes? Some
Um,
banks do.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I'm
this,
not sure why.
yeah, I don't know. We talked
And you,
about
and you
that.
have to disclose it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but there's mobile homes too.
Yeah,
Different. You're talking
They're
modular. I do know.
yeah.
Yeah, not all. I don't know what's up with banks, but you don't see too
But
many
you do have
around
to
here.
disclose if it's a modular home.
Yes.
Do you know the reason?
I don't know. We just don't see them anymore.
Yeah, you're not
Oh,
going to see them
sure.
in Marin. I mean, certainly other markets you can see that, or they're high end custom modular homes of some sort. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of interesting. And it'll go fast.
Yeah.
Is ready?
Yep.
Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nam Fawn of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. Right? Did I get it
Compass.
right?
That's it. Compass.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, just Compass, not Compass Realty, just Compass.
I'm saying Compass Realty because
Yeah, because otherwise people would Compass. I mean,
Compass
what do you
Real
have, weather vane?
I know exactly.
Nam, you wanted to share something about the Paradise.
Yeah. So I was
I mean,
out.
pleasure.
What's
No.
that?
Pleasure. Trump. Remember, Trump said pleasure.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah, that's right. That's so silly.
Did he really?
Yes, he
I
was
didn't hear that.
at this in pleasure. He was in
in-
paradise.
Oh, no.
And you should have seen, Sherry Brown. He's like, we'll let that go. He won't say it twice. He said it twice. He was like, paradise. Oh my God.
You
Ridiculous.
should interrupt the president and say, "Excuse me, oh President,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you know it's called paradise, not pleasure."
So yeah, yesterday we were talking about Shangri-La. No,
Yeah.
no, I was meeting with a mortgage brokerage, and we were just talking about all the fires that happened this year, and they said, you know what, they're already getting requests for loans for rebuilds, but it's a high demand because of speed for modular homes up there. And they showed me some of the models of the modular homes
Oh, but
that
they're
people
nice.
are able to get. They're really nice.
And they're not that expensive. I mean, what is it, $100 a foot or something?
Yeah, I think $120, $150 a square foot, which
Wow.
and the time for delivery, the time
Yeah,
of
because
completion of the
they
building
come in. I mean, that's why they call them modular, right?
Yeah.
They come in
in sections.
sections. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So cheap.
So he was talking about builders who are located out of country. So some are being built in Mexico, and there's some in Colorado. Actually, there's some local
Yeah.
too, but they're seeing a high demand for those in Paradise, and they have loan products for them, which is interesting because they're a conventional lender. and saying that you're going to see that segment take off, and maybe we'll see it in Sonoma County as well.
And will Pacific Private Money lend on those?
We'll look at those. I mean, ultimately it's going to come down to our investors feeling good about investing in.
I mean,
modular homes,
really
but-
what it comes down to is the exit strategy.
Yeah,
Will this person be able to sell the house to another person? I mean, that's really what
right.
it comes
And
down
for
to.
us, the exit could be a refinance as well into
As
a
long as
conventional.
another bank is willing
Right.
to look at
So
it.
the fact that this bank or this
Yeah.
mortgage broker said we can be the exit,
That helps,
that'll
yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah.
So something we'll pursue.
Yeah,
but-
because you got to figure that. I mean, a lot of these houses. I mean, it's not like the caveman days. I mean, some of these things are really built really well.
Well, the technology for it,
Yeah.
some of these homes, this mortgage broker was talking to me about, the entire roof is solar. So it's not solar panels on top of the roof.
Oh.
It's integrated solar.
See, that's
So from corner to corner, all of it is generating electricity.
Well, it depends
So-
on where the sun is at the time, but at least
Right.
it's better to have than not to have
Right,
it.
the capacity to generate across the entire roof, which is essentially one giant solar
Smart.
panel, is another thing too. So the technology there.
Yes, but is
Right.
there indoor plumbing?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's the other part. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
No, indoor plumbing is included.
Of course.
But,
Well, apparently Tesla's getting into indoor.
I
They're getting into solar
shouldn't
roof.
have started that.
yeah, no, they
Solar
own.
roofs, yeah.
Don't they own Solar City as well? And they have solar integrated solar shingles
Mhm.
too. I've
Oh.
seen some of those. So
Very cool. I like that.
yeah, the whole space is housing.
For those listening to
real
the show
estate.
for a long time, they know I am a conservationist. I'm not an environmentalist as one would define that, but I am a conservationist.
Mhm.
I say paper clips.
Dude,
I'm too cheap to go out and buy new ones.
That's where our paper clips are disappearing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And staples. You got to take the staples out and then you got to fold them back to make them. No, I don't think.
I
I don't
imagine
think
this guy at
staples.
90 and be like, oh,
Totally.
Edward, why are you hoarding all these paper clips? All
But
right.
if you're interested in getting into or buying a modular home, call our office because we have
Yeah.
connections for things like that.
Give out your phone number one.
Yeah,
one more time.
415-883-2150.
Very good.
And I am Patty Cohn, COHN with Compass Real Estate, 415-722-4842.
Excellent. All right, here's our thoughts for the day. A couple of years ago, my therapist told me I had problems letting go of the past. I feel he was wrong. And when one door closes, another opens. Or you can open the closed door because that's how doors work. Ba-dum-bum.
Ding.
There you go. All right, you like that? Got a little
Wonderful.
Christmas, a little Christmas season. Hey, everybody out there, have a very, very Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
And
happy
tune in
holidays,
next
everyone.
week to the Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.
All right. Happy holidays. Yay.
Yes.
Another one bites the dust.
That was good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How long have I been doing this now? I do not I have no idea. 3
How long
years?
we've been doing it?
How long have I been?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, I'd have to look.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still fresh and new.
That's you gotta make it first, yeah. Well, the interesting thing is like when we first started, I mean, we were in a pretty deep recession, August 2010.
Oh,
Real estate
terrible.
was just terrible,
Yeah.
so we had to kind of ride the
That's right.
wave, and I just hate. But we're like a news show, so
It's still
it's
fresh.
just kind of
You'd be
interesting.
riding it from crest to crest or trough to trough.
Yeah.
What are we, a
So-
horse?
So it'll be interesting. Yeah, this next year is going to be really interesting.
It
Yeah.
is.
And it's funny because I knew 2018 would be a good year. 2019, I'm cautiously optimistic, but not as much.
No.
So it's like very, very careful, with all the loans that we're going to be looking at.
Very, 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 very. I mean, I'm dealing with a lot of different ones that didn't sell last year and
Yeah.
putting money into them and
Oh,
just.
your own?
Well, and then I just another one that I'm getting where these people can't even pay their mortgage. It's a $2.5 million property in Tiburon. It's not, and they're both about to their startups are about to pop. Like
Yeah,
they said that 3 years ago.
yeah, exactly.
But again, the Compass thing of being able to put money into something, into the house, is really, really good.
You know, the crazy
Yeah.
thing is this one sense that there's a recession on the horizon, but no, 2019 is going to be the year of the IPOs because Uber's going public, Lyft is going
Oh.
public, all of these .coms, all of these tech companies are going public. So there's going to be tons of minted millionaires this year.
That's true.
That's in the Bay Area, and unemployment's still really low.
Unemployment's low.
Yeah,
But
that's a
however,
big point.
some of the cracks we're seeing is because of all these tech companies leaving the Bay Area.
Mm.
That's not to be missed. That's something I was going to say, and I forgot to mention, but that's a big deal.
Well, you're mentioning it on YouTube right now.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's still going to be a solid year.
I think it's,
Because the
it's not going
economy
to be
is still,
horrible,
like,
but
at its lowest unemployment.
That's
still.
that's a major thing, is the
Right.
unemployment, yeah.
So
And I think when Uber goes public, I mean, depending on how their financials look, I think it's not one of those that'll like that. I think it well, depends on how the market's doing.
Yeah.
too.
yeah,
But
but also
like-
the driverless cars. I mean, Uber's going to be in the center of that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way am I going to be investing in Ford or Japanese cars or any other cars. Like, Uber's going to have the driverless cars. People are like, you know, I don't even want to say the future because it's not that far off where you won't need a car.
right.
You
Yeah.
need one, you call for one, it comes, there's nobody in it, you keep
Right.
going.
Well, I mean, I would still the bet though is which one of the manufacturers would Uber partner with for
Yeah.
their driverless cars,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uber can't wait to get rid of human drivers as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because there's such a liability.
Yeah,
All of
exactly.
the criminals that, well, you know, maybe it's same percentage as taxi drivers,
Yeah.
but you know, they get all their bad press from these drivers who commit crimes.
Yeah.
So they
That's
can't wait,
true.
and it's going to be cheaper too.
Cheaper, much cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I saw it on literally on some, I don't know if it was CNN or Fox, literally yesterday about driverless cars being tested in one state, I can't remember where, and people were running after the cars and throwing things at the cars. I mean, they're stupid people,
Yeah.
but I mean, and maybe this will pass too, but right now they're like attacking cars.
Yeah, you
That
don't
gives you a lot.
test driverless cars in like the bayou.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And the thing is that, again, well, Sarah says Louisiana, the joke there is, you know how you can tell when someone's drunk? Is when they drive their car straight.
But because you're more attentive.
Yeah, because you always have to go like this for the potholes.
Oh, okay, I
That's
gotcha.
funny.
Did not realize that.
That's
Because
funny.
honestly, I hate to say it, that's the truth with me. I drive much better when I'm drunk. Because when I'm not, I'm on the phone, I'm texting, I'm putting on makeup. And so